All right, hi collective. This is just going to be a general read. I was supposed to show up yesterday, and it's just is what it is when it is. So this is for anybody who needs it. It's been a while since I've done some bibliomancy, so I was going to read just from a spirit chosen like page in the Red Book Liber Novus by C.G. Jung. So this is a book about a conversation with his soul, essentially, that sat on a shelf for like 50 years after he died before it was even published, because he thought that it would be too crazy for people to understand. Carl Jung is like the father of psychoanalysis, and he brought concepts for higher consciousness over from Eastern philosophies, including alchemy and yoga. So what we know about modern psychology or psychoanalysis is founded on the like strictly rational basis of Eastern spiritual and philosophical practices. So like those stripped of spirit, essentially. It's a really interesting, like the forward of this book by itself is really interesting. I highly recommend it. But let's just jump in. Spirit, please protect this reading. Send any negative energy back to sender, transmuted tenfold for the greatest good of all and harm to none. Archangel Michael, please send clear messages through to my collective today. And Mother Mary, please bring these messages through with compassion. Amen, amen. So mote it be. All right, so we'll start here with this bibliomancy, and then I'll pull some tarot cards. Sitting all comfy cross-legged here in my seat. All right. Hence their formation causes many good persons to bleed to death because they cannot attend to evil in the same measure. The better one is, and the more attached one is to one's formation, the more one will lose one's force. But what happens when the good person has lost their force completely to their formation? Not only will they seek to force others into the service of their formation with unconscious cunning and power, but they will also become bad in their goodness without knowing it, since their longing for satisfaction and strengthening will make them more and more selfish. But because of this, the good ones will ultimately destroy their own work, and all those whom they forced into the service of their own work will become their enemies, because they will have alienated them. But you will also secretly begin to hate whoever alienates you from yourself against your own wishes, even if this were in the best interest of things. Unfortunately, the good person who has bound his strength will all too easily find slaves for his service, since there are more than plenty who yearn for nothing more strongly than to be alienated from themselves under a good pretext. You suffer from evil because you love it secretly and are unaware of your love. You wish to escape your predicament and you begin to hate evil. And once more you are bound to evil through your hate, since whether you love or hate it, it makes no difference. You are bound to evil. Evil is to be accepted. What we want remains in our hands. What we do not want, and yet is stronger than us, sweeps us away, and we cannot stop it without damaging ourselves, for our force remains in evil. Thus, we probably have to accept our evil without love and hate, recognizing that it exists and must have its share in life. In doing so, we can deprive it of the power it has to overwhelm us. Ooh, all right. This is in a chapter called The Opening of the Egg. Wow. Okay. So, what I love about Jung is that he talks about like the necessity of like dichotomy, and how what's true, or duality, what's true is quite often formed in like the space between them, and the tension between them. There's also the idea in, oh, okay, wow. Okay. So while we're talking about dichotomies, duality, tension in the space between, we have the lovers, the Six of Cups, and the Ace of Swords, which is hilarious to me. 5:15 on the timer. The Sword of Truth, right? Okay, I was gonna say we'll get to this in a second. We have Gemini, the lovers, right? Which is um to me also like the sign of Gemini is like the Roman numeral for two. It's Adam and Eve. It's nature, the nature of a human being, like the wild, untamable nature versus rationality, civilization. Um, and then we have the Six of Cups, which is the inner child and also um, the fondness of memory for the past. It does not necessarily mean the past returning. And warnings against the Six of Cups in the reverse are like, don't get too attached to the past. The dichotomy of like the Six of Cups emotionally is that while the memory of the past is fond, the actual living of the event was less so. Um, so there's this idea of letting the emotional currents of like the memories there be what they are, offering gratitude for that place it keeps in our lives, but knowing that to go back would like kind of tarnish the memory. Oh wow. And then we have the Magician. You might be manifesting a connection with somebody from your past as well. If you're not manifesting a connection with someone from your past, you've manifested the means of severing yourself from attaching to people in romantic relationships through like childhood wounds. But I get a really positive feeling from this reading regardless. And it all came out in this beautiful straight line. And as I was shuffling, these cards flipped themselves to make themselves known. Um, so I wanted to get to another quote by Jung. Oh, okay, Ten of Swords by Jung that talks about how the formation of the individuated identity is a lot like the sword forged between the hammer and the anvil. Between the hammer and the anvil. You might be listening to that song, or you might enjoy that song. What is that? Judas Priest? Wow, Judas. You might have a Judas. This could be a Judas from your past. Okay. Um, anyway, you've reached some sort of ultimate truth in your process of individuation, especially as it regards a childlike view of love connections or romantic connections. What is this manifestation? The end of your troubles. That's awesome. I love this card because upright, it means like things are moving, like everything you've been waiting for is coming in. And then reversed, it means the end of troubles. You're not waiting anymore. If you've been waiting on somebody, you're not anymore. What is this Ten of Swords? The Ten of Cups reverse? Wow. I don't like that very much. Two of Swords. Oh, okay. You may have been closed off to. Oh, okay. You may have been closed off to love or romantic connection of any kind because of previous hurts. You hurt us. Like I usually read for Scorpios, so a lot of you here are probably Scorpios. You're the majority of my viewers. If you're a Scorpio, right, or you have Scorpio in your chart, there's that notorious like Scorpio stinger that comes from us like not necessarily being willing to trust. It's hard to gain our trust, and when you do get our trust, don't ever break it, right? Or like you'll never see us again. We'll split. I'm seeing the Roman numeral 2 on this card as well coming up. Definitely something about accepting the nature of duality. So you're accepting the nature of duality. You're accepting that evil has its place in the world. You've been stung, right? You've been hurt. You've been betrayed. Equally, you've been, I'm hearing brutally joyful. Like there's probably been moments in your life where there was so much joy it actually hurt. Like it actually scared you. Like how can I feel this happy? How can I be this like blessed? Um, and the capacity to hold these two opposing emotions at two different times in your life, let alone to be able to look back and see that capability of being able to hold one and or the other has potentially made you a little bit afraid of moving forward. Like you've been in this sort of reflection with the two of swords here and your heart blocked off, maybe making a decision like why did I go through this, or how do I move forward from here? And I think what's coming to you is that the magician has this infinity symbol over his head, right? He holds the power of manifestation because he can hold both truths and their intertwined nature. And he realizes that he's the space where that manifestation of possibility occurs. So we may find ourselves in evil circumstances without even knowing how we got there, right? And the magic of being human is how we choose and what we choose and why and the consequences of those choices. I'm hearing, yeah, end to your troubles here. You realize almost like with a Buddhist understanding that good and bad, evil and light are, I'm hearing both miraculous possibilities. You're not running in fear from one, you're not chasing the other in hope. You're looking at the present as it unfolds before you with wonder, clarity, big clarity, open, clear, crown chakra alignment, like clarity. And it's all beautiful. And it's all like also grotesque and horrible. Like you're just holding these two sides together in your current physical incarnation as you move through reality. It's a really cool feeling. And I feel this also sense of like not needing to speak or not wanting to, because it's almost like when something amazing happens and everybody is just at a loss for words, like everybody witnesses it at once and they're all at a loss for words. You feel like you're just at a loss for words, like because of what it is that you're seeing. And you may be wondering if there's other people around you who see things the same way or who are seeing things the same way. You may see a lot of synchronicities. You may be very in tune with spirit. You may have found this this is like the chemical marriage, like the divine masculine and the divine feminine within your archetypal personas, like your personality, your archetypal masculine and feminine have like met and married or whatever in the 5D, and you just feel like whole. I was just reading a section in the Red Book today about when Jung encounters Elijah, and I cannot remember her name, so Salima or something. She's a young girl, and Elijah is a prophet. Salam. I wish I could remember her name. If you know who it is, please. I could probably just look it up. She asks for Jean Baptiste's head, and so she's like the sorry, she's this young woman who represents like temptation, the devil, the wild, Salome. And then Elijah is a prophet who was like one of God's favorites or something, and he's old. So it's the old man and the young woman, and archetypally, young later is like, oh, of course they are together. That makes perfect sense. Like, there's always that duality within us. There's always the old man and the young woman. There's always the young man and the old woman, and like vice versa in all aspects. Like, there's something about you standing at the center of all of these mirroring, dualistic, opposing aspects of both self and all you encounter, like, and everybody else. It's a really interesting feeling that's coming through. It's like looking through a kaleidoscope at the world. Seven of Pentacles reversed. That's an interesting card to come out. The Empress. And the Nine of Pentacles. Whoa, okay. A lot of There's a lot of like divine feminine energy coming through for you right now. There's something about embodying your divine feminine, being receptive to this, opening your heart. You go from the Two of Swords to the Empress. I was listening to another reader, um, Alex is here, Healing Tarot. I love her. She's so awesome. She just makes me laugh. She's great. But she was talking about how an open heart is an open pocketbook or something, and I was really impressed by just how she was relaying that message, because like my own heart has been rather like this Two of Swords, and I've been feeling just kind of like, okay, it's time to like let that open heart message come through. And then you go from here to the Truth to the Empress. Like, the truth is, we need to open our heart to both good and bad in order to be open to the world. Like, and when we shut ourselves out, it's a personal betrayal against ourselves. We're also shutting out the potential for good. So we need to be brave enough, right, to move forward. And you're fully capable. You're the Empress. You have these, I don't know if they're turnips or watermelons, but they essentially indicate ripeness. The time is ripe for you to be flying solo, I'm hearing. Also, though, the number 9 talks about like spiritual lessons gained and learned. And your spiritual lesson gained and learned is about the material, yourself in material reality, and how all of it, I'm hearing, is a reflection of your internal state. And you're seeing this in a really profound, immediate way. Um, the What I love about this Nine of Pentacles, I believe that this bird on her arm is a hawk, because she's got this hawking glove, and it's got that weird hat thing, right? Which is what hawks wear, the hoods. And then when she takes the hood off, she can send that hawk to go retrieve something for her. And the hawk is indicative of solar energy, which is also masculine. So this divine feminine, intuitive, open-hearted woman has learned to use her rationality, her divine masculine energy, to support her in being receptive, in being open. So you have the tools that you need to be able to set boundaries where you need them, plant seeds when and where the time is right, with the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And you know when not and where not to plant seeds. And that is potentially the more important lesson. You, with the Three of Wands underneath the Empress, you don't have to worry anymore about people taking advantage of your nurturing nature, I'm hearing, or of your nature in general. You could be a very kind, open, giving person, and people maybe in the past have taken advantage of that, which is why you were here in this Two of Swords place. But you're also seeing, right, like, that closing your heart off to everything is like letting the past win as well, or whatever tried to take you down. It's like letting that get the better of you, and you're not doing that anymore. You're consciously manifesting in co-creation with the universe, in a big way, the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. What is the outcome of this situation for you, collective? Ooh, Seven of Wands reversed and Temperance. Wow. You're able to let your guard down, like, finally. You are also, this message is just repeating at this point, but you are realizing that the energy around you, what you're seeing in the material world, is a reflection of your spiritual alignment, of your mental um, thought processes, of your emotions, and you're able to temper. I'm hearing the balance. You're able to temper the balance. Like, you see there's good and bad, and you see, like, the observer perspective of that. Like, there really is no good or bad. There's things that our avatars don't prefer, and there's things that our avatars do prefer. And of course, there are horrible things that happen in the world, and of course, there are beautiful things that happen in the world. But there's a certain, I don't know how to say this really, because I'll just stick with one side, I suppose. There's a certain joy, right, that you can feel, and we talked about this at the beginning, that is, it becomes horrible. It's like being tickled, like, to the point where you're no longer ticklish. You just, it's hilarious, and then it's awful, and then you just get to this point where you're like, I'm not even ticklish anymore. Like, it's just a sensation. And there's two sides to that as well, right? Like, you can get to a point where you're numb, it's just a sensation and you're closed off to it, or it's just a sensation and you feel every bit of it, but you're not emotionally attached to the narrative of what's happening. You don't have a story going on in your head about what that is. It's like you've dissociated from the story, but not from the bodily experience. Wow. Anything else here? The King of Pentacles reversed with the Star reversed. Eight of Wands reversed, Five of Wands reversed. Lots of Wands reversed. Why the King of Pentacles? This is interesting. So I think the King of Pentacles here is somebody who he desires security. He desires the finer things. He desires stability. With the Star reversed, I think you may have experienced a moment of, like, so much stability that it began to stagnate and feel confining. Um, you may have, like, your thoughts may have run away with you here. There's Five Swords this guy's taking away, and she has two. So it could also be that this King of Pentacles is somebody else who you've had your guard up against, and not quietly, like, quite publicly, perhaps even. The Eight of Wands reversed delays. The Five of Wands reversed is petty argument. It's argument just for the sake of arguing. This could be somebody else you're dealing with, or it could be how you react to this kind of stability, or this kind of, you feel like it's confining, almost like it feels heavy to you and uncomfortable. But this could be another person you were dealing with who is just materialistic, who wanted different things than you, who was sneaky and did things behind your back, did things to hold you back, and fought with you just for the sake of fighting. So take it as it resonates. I want to know advice for you moving forward, collective. The high priestess, trust your intuition. He has strength, he establishes. You have the strength to establish a new, I'm hearing spiritual law of attendance for yourself. You are showing up every day to your spiritual practice, which is right now um, devoted to the divine feminine, to earth, to temperance, to seeing both sides. There's a lot of stuff online that's sensationalized in media and even in our politics, where if you choose to try and walk the middle ground, you're isolated or ostracized or demonized because, heaven forbid, a person walk the middle ground, right? Like, um, what's coming through is like corvids speak speak the language of birds. It's like some, I don't know, prophetic quote or something from somewhere that I read. I don't even know where from. But corvids, like ravens and crows, they have hierarchies, social hierarchies, and the ones on the top of the hierarchy will interfere with groups that are forming in lower hierarchies in order to divide them, because they know that congregations are a threat to the status quo of the present hierarchy. And so the status quos of hierarchies are thwarted by walking the red road, by which could be something you're doing as well, walking the red road, being sober, by walking the middle ground, by seeing both sides, by walking in witness consciousness with spirit, with the divine, having your heart open to any and all things that unfold before you from a place of just observation from love and compassion, which is like what Jesus taught, right? Um, I don't I don't like to talk about Jesus because I had my own sort of like difficulties with that religion. But the truth is that if you look into the history of Christianity and the many, many times that it was altered and adopted and bastardized, dare I say, the version of Christianity that we see today is not the same that Jesus was practicing, and the messages that come through from his teachings are always compassion. And we find compassion through this observer mentality by being in our heart space. Okay. By honoring the divine feminine and everything in its own time as well. This veil behind her is the veil to the underworld. It's got the pomegranates on it, which talks about Persephone. And it's interesting because Persephone, her story is that she goes to the underworld to be married to Hades, right? And she eats these pomegranate seeds, so she can't like go back to the land of the living. And her mom is like super mad about it, and goes down there to get her. There's other versions where like she's pursued by a lover or whatever, and she can't go back to the land of the living because she's eaten the pomegranate seeds, but she is allowed to return for a certain amount of time every year. So she returns in the spring, and when she's gone, it's winter. Because her mom is like the goddess of the seasons or something, and so she's all sad when Persephone's gone. Something like that. I'm probably messing up the story. But essentially everything in its own time. And I guess I'm saying it's interesting because it's Easter. Um, in 2 days, from the time I'm recording this, which is about resurrection, it's about springtime, it's about Easter, who is like a Celtic goddess of spring, and Eoster, I think, and I don't know, it's associated with rabbits, the cosmic egg, the divine feminine, and all of those symbols were adopted into this weird version of Easter that we practice now that's like Christian. And like I remember growing up and I was like, why are eggs a thing? And why is the rabbit a thing? And no one could tell me. And now it's much more like widely accepted that and widely understood that like as Christianity spread, it adopted the stories of like local pagan peoples to help to create narratives that made sense for them to like indoctrinate people. And also that's just kind of how we work as people, right? We like create narratives together that create reality, and reality as we work toward like the foundation, the establishment of like a new society, or of society, we need to like work from collective understandings of at least certain truths, right? So this is rambling on now. I don't know why this is coming through for somebody, but it's like important that we operate from a place of clarity regarding not just our intuitive truths and what it is we're establishing and having strength about, but also like how that operates in the collective, what that looks like. Okay, the Page of Pentacles reversed, the Emperor, and the Empress. Huh. So as you come to establish this new truth of you and what it is that you're walking into, like I think you're seeing how maybe you're psychic, or maybe you're a reader, or maybe you're just very attuned to other people emotionally. Maybe you have a really good understanding of rules and what's right and wrong. You could be like high functioning on the spectrum or something. I'm hearing like Temple Grandin, like she was high functioning, sorry about the mic, on the spectrum, and she created like a humane way for cows to be led to slaughter, essentially, because it was just so inhumane. She couldn't stand to watch it. 33:23 on the timer. And this figure is standing out to me as somebody who creates a new established rule from the place of her understanding and compassion, whether you're male or female, and intuition and connection with the divine. There's something here about what's right or what's done isn't necessarily right, and you know, or you can see like a better way or something. You can see a way because you're operating from this place of being able to see both sides, and almost indifferently, potentially, because you've just been so emotionally like through it, um that you don't even feel emotionally attached to it anymore. But there's something here about somebody maybe trying to silence you, especially somebody in a place of power financially. uh yeah, somebody trying to delay you, because the tower that this would cause would bring things into balance, especially in power structures. um this might be a message for like a large collective this year as well, like as this year unfolds. But we have April here with the Emperor. So maybe starting this month, there's some big toppling of power structures. I mean, we've seen a lot of that this year, right? Like that list of the Epstein Island people being exposed, and um, I don't know. There's there's always like things going on. That one specifically stood out for some reason. The Page of Pentacles reversed could also talk about finding new motivations for abundance, reframing abundance for a collective. You might be writing something with the Torah there, you might be demonstrating, teaching, leading through showing what it is to be abundant, through embodying that. The Hermit reverse, yeah, coming out of your hermit mode, showing you may not, yeah, right, you may write, you may not have had the verbal skills or linguistic prowess to be able to say what it was you were given. But the Archangel Michael's here in the center of the read. The Emperor could indicate somebody is coming to help you as well, or that you're, because you've made this connection in yourself across the male and female dualities, because they're working in tandem within yourself now, you're magnetizing somebody who can work with you on an equal level. Ace of Cups reverse, Six of Cups could mean somebody, again, from your past who you're manifesting. The Devil? Why the Devil? Could be a Capricorn. You could have Capricorn in your chart. You may have been stuck, especially in expressing yourself because of your Mars energy. Any tendency towards control, towards or any inability rather to accept the presence of evil. We open this reading with that reading from Carl Jung that talks about accepting the presence of evil and knowing like that in trying to get rid of it, you're attaching yourself to it because your attention is there, right? You've come to some realization that what it is you are repulsed by or what it is you try to push away, it comes back to you in some form, some lesson to be integrated, to be realized as a projection of your internal like fears, like as your sort of internal devil. The Chariot, the Eight of Wands reversed, there's no getting away from it. The Hermit reversed, it's within you. Eight of Swords reversed, self-imposed prison. That idea came up in that reading from Alex's Healing Tarot as well. She said you walk away from Eight Pentacles and you run into 16. This is that concept being applied or being like fully integrated and understood. And so you temper yourself and walk forward with even attention to both sides. Wow. And this is regarding a love situation. If this is a regard, oh my gosh, if this is regarding a love situation, if you've in the past been the kind of person who like always winds up like you always wind up like dating like the wrong kind of person, or you always end up dating like somebody who cheats on you, for example, or you always end up dating somebody who like is emotionally unavailable, and they don't like themselves, so they don't respect you anymore when you like them, because they can't see how you would like somebody they don't like, which is just crazy. But it happens to a lot of people. This is you understanding the roots of those projections from yourself. Like, if you date emotionally unavailable people, this is you realizing, like, you may be emotionally unavailable in some ways, or realizing, like, that in thinking you need to fulfill yourself through a relationship, somehow there's a part of you that has self-loathing. I think it was, oh shoot, I'm trying to remember. It's a French philosopher, Sartre. Was it Sartre? I can't remember. But he said that if you're lonely when you're alone, it means you're not in good company or something. This is you becoming good company for yourself, so that the people who are around you, like, they know who you are. I don't know. This is you conquering your devil in so many ways, myriad ways, a myriad of ways. I'm hearing. All right, let's. I don't even know how to close this reading out because it's all over the place, and I'm really enjoying it. We might just continue for a little bit. Just have a long reading today. The Hangman, the Knight of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Page of Wands. Okay, so right now you're kind of like, where do I go from here? What do I want to do? How do I want to move forward? Do I even want anything? You might be fully in philosopher mode, just kind of like going with it. And then it's like I get this image in my mind of like a stick going down river and then getting stuck in like an eddy, not an eddy, like a little, like a willow, like a submerged willow. It just gets stuck there. And there's something here about you, like the stream is pushing up against you, but you're not going anywhere. And it's because you're a human being, not a stick, and you need to like take the stick and like go somewhere with it, use your passion and like do something um with your willpower. And there's a part of you, I think, that understands that everything you do has like far-reaching consequences, right? And like going back to sort of the beginning of this reading, we were talking about how sometimes we find our way into evil circumstances without even knowing how we got there, and we just have to make the best choice we can make. This is you being in like not evil circumstances. You're not in fight or flight mode. You're not being pushed by having to make the best choice you can make in the worst situation you've ever been in. This is you being like, I don't have to make a choice. I can just be here. So what do I do? Because like now I can like consciously cultivate myself, my personality, my desires, my likes, my world. Should I even do anything? Like, this is this is you being like, what do I do now that I'm not in fight or flight mode 24/7? Like, maybe, I don't know, whatever your devil was that you tamed, it's like you're almost like, there's a part of you that almost laments the end of what feels like some sort of epic battle. Like, all of the heroes' journeys that we watch or listen to or read are about the dramas of like facing down evil against good. And like, without that dichotomy or that drama, things just are. And again, you're so sort of mesmerized by this, like, things just are. Like, what do I do with this? And you get this idea that makes you kind of want to move forward. You get this idea, you maybe move kind of quite quickly towards it. You have an opportunity to consider your options, and then you continue to move towards it, but a little bit more slowly or tentatively. Five of Cups reversed on the bottom, like you're releasing any, you have released any emotional drains, things that were draining you emotionally. What is this idea? Queen of Wands, Nine of Wands. The idea is to start by just nurturing yourself, which is a beautiful idea. Just grow your garden. Um, let you want the out you want what's on the outside to reflect what's on the inside. And right now, what's on the outside is showing the wounded warrior. But what's on the inside wanting to come out is this Queen of Wands. She's very well established in her feminine power. She's got the bear sigil. It reminds me of Merida and her mom in that movie Brave. Um, that woman can walk through a crowd of fighting men and collect them by the ears and walk back in a silent room without saying a word. This is you somehow commanding that sort of authority by just embodying your divine feminine. There's a lot of divine feminine energy here. And respecting the divine feminine. This could be like a collective awakening in the divine feminine as well, that shows like how damaged it has been. Um, yeah. Wow, okay. The Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Five of Swords reversed, the World reversed. This person keeps coming back into your energy. I don't know if it's somebody that you've known for a long time or a cycle that's played out on the world stage for a long time. Maybe it's both and they reflect one another. This whole reading is about that. But this person's been coming towards you, coming towards you, coming towards you. You see them as your Two of Cups. And most certainly, if it's not that, this is you having achieved your Two of Cups internally and being like, yeah, what do I do with this? Not knowing how to move forward. Um, and not knowing how to close this cycle out. Just like this reading. Like, I don't even know where to stop this reading. It's continuing and continuing. And, like, there's no end goal. That's the deal. There's no end goal. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. Of course, there are, like, ethically, logically, like, even in our heart space, we experience, like, things that feel bad, that are traumatic, you know, in our emotions. But, like, from witness consciousness in an extreme embodiment of the observer, all is like consciousness, all is life unfolding and is like imbued with the energy of spirit. And like the good necessarily is outweighed, or not outweighed, but equally weighed by the bad. And I just see that you're like, you're not even wanting to take this fourth cup, this cup that spirit's offering you. You've been to the celebration, you've had the community, you've had your fun at the party, and now spirit's like, take this one. And you're like, but that was good. Like, why can't I just stay there? Like, this is fine. Like, why can't I just stay here? And it's just because there's this motion, things just unfold as they do. especially for us being kind of trapped in the element of time and space, right? Like without time, like in a tesseract, you could look down onto the little projector slide of your life in the cosmos and be like, that one. And it's always there. There's no sense of time. But in our bodies, in our avatars with this Queen of Wands, right? Like we are tied to that element, and things need to continue to move forward because we're not dead. We're not outside of these bodies. We're here in this world, in this like version of the Maya, the Matrix. Hierophant reversed, a non-traditional Ten of Pentacles. You're coming to the Ten of Pentacles in a non-traditional way. What does that even mean? And the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so kind of like this duality thing we've been talking about the whole reading. You've like come to your Ten of Pentacles by going into your fear, by going into everything that scared you, everything that wasn't you, everything you didn't want. And there was one thing you didn't, my right ear's ringing. There's one thing you didn't release, and it was your legacy. What is your legacy? The Sun reversed. The Sun reversed is like the child that never got to be a child, the person who wanted kids and didn't. This was the thing you wanted to do that you didn't do. But you always held on to, like secretly in your heart of hearts, while you went into this, like, here's all the stuff that scares me emotionally, I'm going for it. Here's all the stuff that makes me overthink and like completely uncomfortable in my mind. I'm going through it. Like, here's everything that emotionally drains me. I'm gonna go find out why. Why is this Four of Pentacles here? The Page of Swords reversed. There was just something you couldn't communicate, and it's coming through over and over. Here, King of Cups. Oh, you couldn't communicate this because of this judgment about good and bad, about needing things to be kind of a certain way. Like, you really needed to go out on a limb to see this observer perspective. You really needed to go literally into all of your worst fears, everything that scared you, and bring it into the light. If you ever played Kingdom Hearts, this is like when Sora faces his own shadow, and it's huge. It's like enormous, right? It's like this. Of course, our shadows, they're much larger than we are, depending on how far away the sun is. And I'm seeing that you went so far away from the sun that you came up with it on the other side of the earth. Like it met you, like on the other side of the earth. And then your Wheel of Fortune and your Ten of Pentacles is here. You got to your Ten of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune unconventionally because you literally went the opposite direction, which is exactly how this reading started. The King of Cups is a wonderful place, I think, to end this reading because he goes all the way to the depths of like the deepest depths. And he comes up and he's able to maintain his emotional stability even in the choppiest of waters. He's able to maintain his security even in the choppiest of waters. And he still has compassion even after seeing the murkiest, darkest, grossest, ickiest things. Like his crown chakra and his root chakra are connected, I'm hearing. And there's also something here about that temperance card coming through because like for divers, right, they have to come up slowly, everything in its own time, allow things in their own time so that they don't get like embolisms. The nitrogen I think in your blood has to like you'll get nitrogen, too much nitrogen in your blood if you like go to the surface too quickly. So there's something here about acclimating to new um depths as you rise, knowing you can't rise too quickly or you won't be like adjusted. Okay, so how do you accept this? You have the sun and the moon here. Death reverse. Definitely there's somebody who could be mirroring you as you're understanding all of these mirroring aspects of like life around you. There could be somebody experiencing something very similar and you two may meet. Scorpio energy here, death reverse with the King of Cups. Also Sagittarius, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. I mean, it's kind of all over Pisces because I've pulled a lot of cards here, but Judgment reverse with the King of Wands. All right. So, I guess just one last thing with this Mercury retrograde, there could be somebody from your past coming back. Which seems like such a strange, like almost petty message to come through with all of this going on. And it might feel that way when this person enters your energy, but there's resurrection all over this reading. And then we talked about the resurrection itself, right? And spring and everything like that. So it might be really beautiful, unexpected. The Knight of Swords reverse indicates like maybe that thing you thought you needed to say is not quite as important as you thought it was. You don't need to say it. It's already like if this is somebody coming back, they already know. And if this is a concept coming back to you, it's like you realize that your actions speak much louder than your words. Your work speaks for itself. Hmm. Overcoming lack mentality. Wow. Wow. And then there's all these people all of a sudden here. Queen of Pentacles reverse, King of Swords reverse, Page of Cups talks about, I think that's like another family. Six of Wands reverse, and you're you're burdened with the Ten of Wands, Sagittarius energy again. Yeah, if there's people bothering you or whatever, there's people coming towards you. If there's another family involved here, something about understanding this projection or mirroring is like key to that situation. That's for like one person though. Like somebody who might be interested in you may have a family, um and they haven't given you any sort of offer or anything because they're sort of not willing to release that, which is fine. And there's, I mean, yeah, it may not feel fine. I'm not trying to disregard anybody's feelings here, but like if somebody's not willing to, blow up a family dynamic to come towards you, that's probably a good sign of character for one. But also, I mean, if somebody has a whole friggin' family and they want to come towards you, there's probably some healing to be done there. So, your understanding, you had the Ten of Wands there, the sort of burdens of doing the inner work for that situation and asking yourself like what about your embodiment of the situation was attracting that. Four of Wands on the bottom. That's a good, we got this portal coming in. Two of Pentacles reversed, no more juggling. Three of Pentacles reversed, no more third parties. Cups reversed, Three of Cups, Justice reversed, Strength reversed, Ace of Pentacles reversed, Three of Swords reversed. Okay. Um, so I don't know. This was a long, all around kind of cool, crazy, meandering reading. I don't know how clear I feel afterwards. It was a reading for the entire collective. So let me know what you thought about the concepts here or the reading here. I will pull an oracle card to end this reading out. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do some past life deal because I feel like there was some past life stuff coming through there. Collective, past life cards. Pirate, ocean traveler, explorer, fisherman. Wartime, maritime, sorry, maritime. Oh my gosh, there's that thing about a diver. You might be a diver, sorry, or this person could be a diver. Obsessive love, husband, early modern age, gluttony, dementia, Africa, abandonment, trauma, ascetic faith, gambling or speculation, miser, inheritance, acquisition. Okay. So this is sort of like this is stability, inheritance or wealth, acquisition. And then it was sort of mixed with like the miser and the gambling or speculation was like around obsessive love, the identity of like the traditional divine masculine in a husband role, especially through the early modern age. The collective lesson is around gluttony, death by dementia. Wow. The collective lesson is around not looking back at our history and remembering where we've been. And what we're learning this year, especially as a collective, is how to look back at where we've been as a society, what we've done, what's been established, and the things that we've sort of buried. And those are coming up so we can see the shadow of civilization clearly, so we can integrate it, so that we can move forward into a healthier dynamic um, between masculine and feminine. Especially, I'm hearing around the traditional identity of a husband. There's something about the male as provider You also have domestic abuse and love here, obsessive love and domestic abuse. Um, oh, the lesson is leadership. Whoever you are, whoever I'm reading for in this collective who's learning how to lead, you're a divine feminine leader, male or female. You're learning how to lead in your divine feminine energy. And this is alternatively modifying the collective definition of what it is to be a husband or a divine masculine in a traditional partnership. It's changing the definition of traditional partnership. Death by fire can talk about clearing things out. Northern Europe, in location in Northern Europe, we might be seeing some like laws passed in Northern Europe or things going on in Northern Europe this year that are like the create headway for the same things to happen in America around the divine feminine can also mean like the environment. Um, the trauma is physical limitation. We might be seeing new advancements in transportation, in robotics. I mean, those are almost a given, right? If we stay on the path we're on. We may also see, with faith being agnostic or atheist, like a rise in spirituality that blends traditions, identity, sibling. People may begin to value their families more, and see each other as like brothers and sisters, whether or not they're like blood related. We might begin actually like looking at one another as human beings again. Not that we don't necessarily, only that I think for a long time many of us were disillusioned into, or like even conditioned into thinking that people weren't kind, especially through like fear mongering media and stuff. One thing I like about like people who are opposing the TikTok ban, for instance, is that they're saying like Pearl Mania is a guy I follow sometimes. He's hilarious. And he's just talking about how amazing it is to see other humans being humans and realizing like everybody's weird. We're all like we've all got we're just human beings. Like everybody wants to be seen and they want to. Like they're a lot kinder than we give them credit for. And I don't know. There's just something here about some major collective shadows being healed coming up this year, especially as you step into your leadership role collective. So thank you for being here. That was a cool reading. Really different, really interesting. I hope it was interesting for you as well. Please let me know. If you want to enter to win a free reading on 424, you can put free reading in the comments. And if you want to book a personal with me, they're on sale for the next like month. You just can click on my community tab. There's a link that says springtime is the coupon to my Etsy. So go to Etsy and put springtime in the promo code and you can get 15% off. So otherwise, everything else is in the information box below. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.